Hey everyone, Pastor Brandon here at Calvary Chapel Hemet, bringing you today's Heart to Home daily devotional. I wanted to share a few verses with you out of the book of Romans. Chapter 15 actually is where they're found. The Apostle Paul wrote the book of Romans. When he did, he was in the city of Corinth. And interestingly, Paul did not plant the church there in Rome. Actually, he'd never even visited the church in Rome when he wrote this letter. And in Romans chapter 15, verses 20 through 22, Paul tells us the reason why he was never able to visit that church. And he says, I have made it my aim to preach the gospel not where Christ was named, lest I should build on another man's foundation. But as it is written, to whom he was not announced, he being Jesus, they shall see, and those who have not heard shall understand. See, Paul was called to announce Christ as the way, the truth, and the life. He was called to preach the gospel where the gospel had not yet went out. And rather than build upon another man's foundation, well, Paul was called to be the one that lays the foundation for other men to build on. And in Romans 15, 22 through 25, Paul goes on and he says, and it's for this reason that I also have been much hindered from coming to you. But now, no longer having a place in these parts, and having a great desire these many years to come to you, whenever I journey to Spain, I shall come to you. For I hope to see you on my journey and to be helped on my way there by you, if first I may enjoy your company for a while. But now I'm going to Jerusalem to minister to the saints. You see, there were still areas that needed to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ. And for that reason, Paul says, I've been hindered. I've been prevented from coming to see you. I had work to do, Paul says. But now he's letting them know that he no longer has a place in these parts. Meaning, Paul believed that his work of spreading the gospel all throughout the Eastern Roman Empire was complete. The work that God had for him to do in that area was done. But what really struck me as I was going through this text is what Paul says at the end of verse 23. Paul says, I've had a great desire these many years to come to you. I've had a great desire. My heart's been on this. I've been wanting to come to you guys for so long, to enjoy your company, fellowship, hang out. It was something Paul yearned to do. It was a personal desire of his for years, he says. And so Paul says, but you know what? I've got my eye on Spain, way to the west. I'm planning to go there next because they need the gospel too. But first I have to go to Jerusalem to minister. And actually he was dropping off a gift to the church there from the Gentiles. And he says, but on my way to Spain, I'm going to stop by and I'm going to finally fulfill that desire of mine. I finally will come to get to visit you. Now, Paul set a great example for us in this section. Because we all have those things we want to do. We have those personal desires. But what Paul is showing us here is that the Lord's work and the Lord's will and the Lord's calling must come before our own personal desires. Paul took this thing that he had wanted to do for many years, he said. Something that would have brought him great pleasure. And he waited until he accomplished what the Lord had for him to do. I want to leave you with this. As Christians, right, we're going to face these types of situations daily. Situations where we're confronted with what would we like to do and what would the Lord like for us to do. And it's a good idea for us to ask ourselves, are my personal desires in my life more important to me than what the Lord desires for me? I think that's a great question for us to ask ourselves, especially when we come across a text like this. And so it's my prayer that we all ask ourselves that question today. If you're listening to this, ask yourself that. And remember what Jesus said to his disciples, friends. In Matthew's Gospel 16, verses 24 through 25, Jesus said, "If anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever desires to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake," Jesus said, "will find it." Guys, the Lord's not saying that we can't enjoy things in life, have fun, fulfill those desires and do things we've always wanted to do. That's not what he's saying at all. But what he is saying is that he needs to be first in your life above all those things. Hey, it's been a blessing bringing you the Heart to Home Daily Devotional. God bless you guys. We'll see you around.